Hey, Beans. No? Look. He thinks I'm food. Tiny wet nose. Tiny wet nose. Not interested anymore because he can't eat me. Why are there all these little paws? Okay, bye, Beans. Bye. Love you, bye. He's so cute. Hi. You know when you start to say something and then you forget everything that you started to say? Imagine that, but you've got to do a podcast and you've forgotten everything. Yeah, I know, it's rubbish, Beans. Really rubbish. Let's pull this out there. Hello and welcome to Babbles Travelling Yarns. This is episode, I forgot to check the number, but sure, you clicked on it, and does it really matter? It's October the 25th. There is 2 days left. Actually, tomorrow is the start of Babbles retreat, my second retreat. Oh! And Saturday is the open day for the Babbles retreat, where anyone can come down and join us for the day. And we also have a fabulous marketplace. It's just it's a small little marketplace from 12 until 2, with a select number of special indie dyers that I thought of first to ask. So there are some really cool people. I'm going to put up a little bloop. I'm really proud of that little poster. But I'd really love to see you, and if you fancy coming down, it's a free day to come down, and you can treat yourself to some lunch there in the Forge Bar in Ballyglass House. The retreat is in just outside Tipperary town in the beautiful Glen of Aherlow, and it's at Ballyglass Country House, which is a really I think the house is like over 260 years old or something. It's very, very classic country Irish. And yeah, you can get the train from Cork or Dublin. It's about an hour and a half train from Dublin, and about the same probably from Cork, maybe an hour train from Cork, and they leave on the hour. So Limerick Junction is actually in Tipperary, which is just a bit confusing. But it's fine. It's where all the trains used to change to go into Limerick from Dublin. So yes, I'd love to see you there. And yeah, if you are coming, I'm really excited. I'm so excited. So I've been off. I've not been online for the last month or so. Life's been a little bit mad and a little bit sad. We had a family bereavement, and that was just giving myself some time to focus on, you know, the things that really need to be done. And yeah, but I really wanted to get this video out because it's been like a month, and I'm like, I miss you guys. But this might be a little bit of a short video because I'm actually already tired. Like, how is that possible? 2 minutes 49 seconds in and I'm tired. Anyway, you may have noticed something spectacular in the room, apart from myself. Maybe this is going to be one of those drunk tired podcasts. They're the funnest. Okay, so let me show you my finished object. You hadn't seen this at all before I went away, because I went on holidays in Greece, and that's when I cast this on, and that was at the end of September, and I knit so far on it, it was almost done the body by the time I got back, so I just had to do the sleeves. I started off knitting it, so this is the Pavement sweater by Veera Mackey. Whee! Let me show you the whole shot. So it is a really simple raglan sleeve. It's a very fast increase raglan, which is actually just, I don't know, it seems, I feel like one of those varsity jumpers or something. I don't know, it feels really nice to knit, nice to wear. and then it's just a straight stocking stitch. There is no, it's kind of like a boxy design but not super boxy. I didn't want it super boxy. And then the bottom has a little bit of short row shaping. It goes down in the bum to cover the bum and then down in the front, so it's a little bit of a gentle curve there. Well, mine turned gentle, it wasn't very big or long. So I had a bit of a story to tell about the yarn. So the yarn is Pollen by Hedgehog Fibres. So this colorway was in, I had 3 skeins of this colorway in my stash. It was the first, oh actually no, this technically the second sweater quantity that I ever bought, but it was the first indie dyed sweater quantity that I had ever bought, and I thought I was going mad. So I bought this at Convent and Chapel wool shop when I went to see my friend Jocelyn, who gave me the My Beautiful Spinning Wheel Rosie. So we drove together to Rylstone, to this little town in Convent and Chapel called, and which had this shop, Convent and Chapel, and it was a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous yarn shop. So I had bought 3 skeins of Pollen, this kind of deep mustardy, kind of intense yellow, but then I also had bought this is Pod, I believe, in Hedgehog Fibres, and I bought them to go together. So I was going to do the neckband, the sleeves, the cuffs and the bottom cuff, the ribbing in this Pod. But I started that. It's top down, so I did start it. It was in my beautiful bag by, oh no, I left the thingy. No, that's okay. This is my beautiful bag, and it matched. Actually, it could match so many different colours. My Cottage number 9. This is the bag from her, and it's one of these magical bags where you have these straps. So well made. Oh, I love it. Needs a bit of a wash. I'm just going to hand wash it in a minute, whenever I get around to it. But I don't have my, oh I do. I took everything out. So this is what was left of the jumper. So I had cast on with Pod, and I had my little collar done, little short row collar, and I started knitting down, and then I started just kind of, I don't know, it's a beautiful colour. It's really stunning colour, but with the yellow it just felt a bit too super Irish flaggy and just not as kind of, I didn't feel like, by the end of it, I actually decided by the time I got down to the edge, I didn't have the skein Pod in, the green skein in my bag, so I just cast off in this, and I actually really just liked the way this looked. Just with a different texture, because the texture is in the garter stitch. Oh my gosh, am I missing a stitch there? Oh, I've dropped a stitch. I dropped a stitch in the cast off. Oopsie. So I just really like the different textures, and you can see here the way that even just the different shapes of the stitches going up this way versus going straight down just gives you a different colour. It's just really nice. So I decided I wanted a little bit more of a subtle garment that I could wear with lots of different colours. So I've got a coat which is like a plummy burgundy colour, and I think that would look really lovely with this colour, but with a green as well. It just, you know, it's colours that I think I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing together, and yet I could wear this with a really green coat as well, or a green jumper, or scarf, or shawl. I could wear it with like a brown, I could wear it with jeans, I can wear it with, you know, there's so many more options when it's just one colour. So I decided to just go with that. So I changed out the collar once I'd finished my project, and I'm so happy I did. So the way I changed the collar was I picked up all the stitches around the bottom of the neckband. I picked up all of these stitches here when they started to when the stockinette started. I picked up the leg of all of the left leaning stitches, or I just picked one, and then I had re-knitted this top part just by following the directions again on a smaller needle size. So then I basically just Kitchenered everything together. Now it is just slightly off just by a teeny tiny bit, and I don't know how that happened, but it just did. I don't really think it's too much of a problem. I think the Kitchener, I did it quite tight, which I'm actually really happy with. So the it just looks like this is wonky now, but it's actually, the collar's just a tiny bit wonky, but it's fine. So the collar, when I first knit it, the neck was really wide, and like you would have been able to see my straps here, like it would have been super wide. It was pulling right down like that almost. And this is something that has been told to me before by some other knitters who've made it. So actually I think the Kitchener pulled it in a little bit, and it gave it a little bit more structure, so the neck is nice and tidy and it's cozy, and I don't feel like I'm constantly like trying to pull it up. It did make the sleeves a teeny bit shorter, but I don't mind about that because I kind of wanted them 3/4 length anyway, so I could brush them up or pull them down. I was going to go for full length, and I actually thought they were full length when I cast them off. I'm not very good at measuring or trying on things accurately. I kept on trying them on just by like putting my arm through the one hole. It's just lazy. So yeah, but I don't mind. It's actually fine. I love it. It's super comfy, and actually it's the way the pattern asked for it. So that's the story of my pavement sweater. Oh, there's more. There is more. I thought that I would need more yarn for a kind of like a boxy sweater like this, a big kind of, but this is knit on a 5mm needle, so the gauge is really quite loose. You can actually see my sweater through this. It is quite loose. So I got this out of 3 skeins of 100 grams in hedgehog fibres sock. So, but I had actually gone down to hedgehog fibres down in Cork one day. I was down with James, and I popped in and I said, you know, I'll just get one more skein of pollen just to put with it, and we'll see, you know, like I probably, you know, I'll probably need it. So then when I started knitting on this, I was thinking, do you know what, I'm definitely going to need this, so I'll start off with the light colour, because I like starting with the light colour on top and then fade down into the darker colour as you go down into the bottom, if you see. So it was just because it was a different batch, you know, it was a different dye lot. So it just felt like that was probably the good thing to do. It only took 3 skeins, not 4, so now I have an extra one of this that I could have used up top, but I don't mind, because actually I really quite like the way that it's done this shading business. I really do. It's also given me that little bit of contrast, because I did the rest of the collar in the darker shade, and it gave me a tiny little bit of contrast that I did want in these garments. I do love a little bit of a contrasting cuff situation, so I was really happy with that. So doing this garment has actually helped me put into words or solidify the idea of a skill that I picked up at Edinburgh Yarn Festival last year from a girl who I keep forgetting her name, but on Ravelry. I'm going to put her name down here so you'll be able to find her, because she is the actual person who has taught me this trick, and I don't want to be like, hey, I thought this idea, it's so great. No. So when alternating skeins, a lot of the time you get a seam up the side under the arm normally, because you're trying to hide it up under the arm or something, where you're switching skeins, you're twisting the skeins around each other every time, so you get a bit of a line, and it just looks a little bit unfinished and a little bit like, some people don't mind it, some people make a feature of it, you know, they put it right up the front or right up down the back, you know, to make this kind of little bit of a wobbly line. It's not wobbly, but it's just a little bit more pronounced, and you can see it on some garments more than others, and especially on a looser gauge I think you can see it a little bit more, because the fabric is a little bit see-through, you know. So yeah, so this technique that was shown to me is called helical knitting, or jogless knitting for a jogless join, and it's when you're knitting with 2 separate yarns. And the 2 separate yarns, you're knitting one stripe after the other. And what people do is, I think also one of the girls from my Humbug Watson from my retreat was also doing this with 3 colours on her skein, which was really, really cool. So it is something that is being done, but normally it's done with 3 separate colours to make striped items without that jog. It's called Helical Knitting, and I'm going to put in a bit of a video here about how it works. So I've come to my last 3 stitches here. I'm going to drop my working yarn, slip 3 stitches purlwise, and then pick up the new yarn, and off we go again. We just knit normally, and you just you get the hang of it every time. It's basically you're doing stripes every single round. You're changing colour, so it's basically creating a 2-stripe. So I basically just do it for alternating skeins on a jumper. So even though they're the same dye lot, or indie dyed yarn is like different colours, you do need to alternate indie dyed yarn because it is not commercially dyed. It's not going to be the same dye lot. You might get a big straight, obvious change in tone from the dye lots, and it happens quite a lot to a lot of people. Like to the best knitters it happens. You think, oh yeah, no, it'll be fine, I can't see a difference in the skein or the ball, and then you start knitting with it and you're like, oh, there's a big line, and it's almost not enough of a difference to make it a feature. So yeah, so to sort of fix that, or kind of blend it in a little bit, we're always told to alternate skeins. When you're alternating skeins, you get that seam, which people don't like. But if you use this helical knitting technique, it just blends in. So I started it just here, just when I where's my join? Just after I separated from the for the armpits, I started my helical knitting, and there is no seam all the way around. No seam, it's just a flat piece of fabric, but from here all the way down to the bottom I am knitting with 2 strands all the time, and on the inside you can't see any line either. That's just where I joined a new skein. You can't see any line, you can't see any floats, there's no hiccup whatsoever. It's magical. So I've got the full video out. I did my first tutorial, which I was really nervous about because I was like, oh, what if everyone knows about this and it's really stupid, or what if everyone does it differently? And I did get some comments saying, so what I do, and you'll have seen that in the little clip that I put in, is I slip 3 stitches and then I start knitting again, and some people were like, you don't need to have 3, you can just use one stitch, And I was like, yeah, I tried the 1 stitch, but I felt like I could still see it. I think 3 stitches evens it out a little bit. Maybe it's just in my head. It just suits me. It's what I do. So you can try slipping 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitches and see if it helps. I just put my needle through all 3 when I'm going fast, so it's not like it slows me down, slipping 3 instead of 1. But I do recommend that you pop over there and have a little look if you haven't. If you're interested in knitting a garment with 2 or 3 skeins of indie dyed yarn, I really, 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 really recommend it. I've knit the last maybe 5 garments with that technique. The only one I haven't knit that technique on is James's jumper, and I haven't noticed anything because mainly it's natural coloured yarn from the same batch, so there's no dyeing involved. It's actually mixture of the yarns, and it's from the same dye lot, so it should be okay. I'm gonna eat my words, but anyway. So, and it's generally used for knitting in the round, when you're knitting in the round and you're alternating skeins, which is quite a large amount of indie dyed yarn does it that way. So, or indie dyed, or indie patterns, the top down seamless knitting that a lot of people use. So that's what it works for. And I'm delighted that everyone's found it so useful. I'm getting some lovely comments on it, so I'm really happy that it's helped some people and encouraged some people to start using some, to start like putting into practice the plans that they've made for these beautiful skeins of indie dyed yarn, but they're worried about like, how would you alternate skeins? Just the idea of how do you alternate skeins. I couldn't really find a tutorial explaining it properly the way I wanted to explain it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I made it myself and I really enjoyed making it actually. It was really fun. So we may see some more in the future. Maybe a tutorial on how I catch my floats when I'm doing colour work, which actually was originally in the fruity knitting, but maybe just having separate tutorials is handy as well, just for people finding them. So that might be something that people are interested in coming into float season, colourwork season, Christmas. So, but now I've got these 2 skeins and I'm like, oh crap, I thought I'd need the whole thing to make a jumper, but no, you only need 3 skeins. Alrighty, so I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I might destash them. They're very pretty, but they could make a really nice shawl. We'll see. Anyway, I feel like, you know, I've used them and I'm like, I need to pass them on into the world, because I've just kept looking at them in my, oh my gosh, actually. I don't know, I keep finding things. I'll probably send them off into the world. We'll see. So I brought 2 projects, or 3? No, only 2 projects on holidays with me. So the second project then was a crochet project, and I was using that when I, you know, if I needed to change a needle size, if I had my needles in my luggage or whatever, you know, like just have a different project. So I decided to take a crochet project, and this is the Virus Shawl, which is a super simple crochet. Well, it's not really super simple. I need the chart, so I haven't figured it out just yet, but everyone makes them. So, and I am using Katya Jaipur mercerized cotton in the color 208. So it's this beautiful kind of brown, tan, a little bit of pink and a little bit of this kind of purpley mauve. And this was given to me by a lovely woman that I met up in Atlantic Landscape. She was making this shawl, and I was just like, I love it. I haven't got very far though, so here we are. It's so tiny. I haven't got to the nice purple bit yet. That's what I'm excited about getting to. But God, it's been a long time since I've crocheted, you guys. So yeah, I think it'd be really sweet. And I wanted 2 skeins. They're only 50-gram skeins, but they're very fine. It's lace weight, so you get this really nice, delicate, small pattern. I think the thing that's been stopping me doing crochet is the chunkiness of it. I'm just, it's not my aesthetic. I don't find it attractive. Just me. Doesn't mean that, oh look, wouldn't that be so cute? A little crochet modesty panel or something. Oh, so cute. Yeah, so, but I thought if I was doing it in fine, you know, wool, then it would look really sweet, and it totally does. So this is the Virus Shawl, and I'm messing it up quite a lot, but that's fine. So that's that. So it's out of this, so it's going to hopefully fade and do a bit of striping, and super fun. So I am crocheting this on a teeny tiny 1mm needle, which may be a little bit fine, a little bit of a small needle size for the wool, but no, that's fine. As long as it hooks, you know, and it does, so it's grand. So that's that. I need to take some nice, you know, product boudoir shots of my pretty things. I did take a few amazing photos of this, which you can see now. I so beautiful. Yeah, we went for a walk down in just outside Limerick. There's an old an old monastery run by, founded by St Munchin, and he apparently came to Limerick, and he said he was treated really badly, like he didn't get all the respect that he thought he was due, so he set up his monastery outside Limerick, and he put a curse on Limerick to say that anyone who comes from Limerick will never be prosperous. And so yeah, he didn't like anybody from Limerick. I was like, St Munchin, that's kind of unchristian of you, don't you think? Anyway, I took all the photos there, and it was really funny, because James kept taking pictures of like the pretty ruins, and I kept being like, this is about me! Me! So rude. I'm just drinking water today because I'm gasping. So, what else have I been working on? I have been working on, once I finished this, so this was my kind of everyday knitting for about 3 weeks, and then once I finished that I was like, oh god, I have no plain knitting left, so I pulled out my hitchhiker shawl. So this is about as old as Edinburgh Yarn Festival in 2018, so, and I'm halfway through a row, but it's actually growing quite a bit. This is on yarn by Nora George Yarns. This is her Edinburgh 2017 colourway called Thistle, and it's a knit in a Donegal tweed, and I'm knitting it on circular needles with a little stitch marker just there by Marion Prince. Thanks, Marion. These are my favourite stitch markers. I love them. And I'm knitting it on 4mm. I think it's actually a hat needle. I need to change it out actually, because I want to knit more hats, so I need to rob this needle and put it back. And oh, this is such an advert for my lovely friend Terry, but this is one of her Christmas bags from last year, but it's like the most perfect little sock sack. Our little one skein project. Look at these little stags, and that's her tag, my cottage number 9, and it's so lovely. It's sparkly. Can you see the sparkles? So pretty. So Terry's going to be at the market as well, which is so much fun. 2 days, guys. I better put this out now tonight. So I better edit it. So I better keep it short. But they're essentially. Oh yes. So once I stopped this, I started knitting on this just kind of around about, but I actually had been knitting a jumper for James. You may remember it from previous episodes of James sulking because he hasn't got a jumper yet. Very annoying. He's 6, let me just recap, he's 6'8", 2 meters exactly. He has the longest torso of any man. Maybe not, but you know what I mean. He's a tall man. That's a lot of knitting. Now I'm knitting it out of what's it called? The Vicariously. Not this one. This one. Boop. I'm knitting it out of Vicariously's Aran yarn, Aran wool, which is in the light black colorway. Actually it's light grey, this is totally mislabeled. 100% pure new wool, and it's spun up in Donegal. So it's this really light grey, it's really kind of classic Aran jumper. It's kind of crunchy and squishy and super strong. It's definitely non-superwash. And 200 grams per skein. The actual balls or cakes, once they're caked up, are huge. I have to like bend, you know the little guide when you're winding your yarn, I have to bend it back to get it this massive skein to fit on, and I'm like, please don't break, please don't break, please don't break, every time I wind up a skein, and I've only wound up 3 skeins, so we're not too bad. So, but the sweater was getting too huge that it actually outgrew all of my bags. So guess who came to the rescue? My wonderful friend Terry from my cottage number 9, you guessed it. So she made this stupendous bag for me. It's this really, like, it's got this twill fabric down the bottom, so you can see it's got I don't know if you can see it, but it's got this kind of Irish linen-y type fabric. And then this fabric here, someone was saying that it's really similar to Welsh weaving, like traditional Welsh weaving patterns. It reminds me of kind of like Aztec weaving. Beans has had a tiny little run-in with the bag. He loves bags, but that makes it more special. So it's a version of her wraparound bags. These are her wraparound bags with the handles that are actually wrapped around. So this is a larger version. You can fit 10 skeins of 100-gram skeins into this bag. It's huge. I love it. It's like a beach bag. It's beautiful. And then she's got this really super sturdy cable strap going all the way around so you can hold it. It's a zipper style. I just added a little stitch marker there because I always need stitch markers. And then inside is jumper for James. Here it is. She has added for me 3 pockets, a large pocket and then 2 smaller pockets for like needles, circular needles. You know, they're really nice when you can round them up and then put them into like a little pocket. Pockets are lined and everything. Too cute. Anyway. So this is the jumper, but let me just show you the skein, the ball first. This is the cake. This is my head. Huge. Huge. So this is cake number 3. And Grace has split for the sleeves. So because it's circular knitting, it doesn't really matter if I've started or finished it, right? So I have split for the sleeves. This is my sweater. These are the little sleeve armholes. I decided to cast off 5 stitches under the underarm in each direction. So 10 in total, 10 stitches in the underarm. I don't know if that's the right decision or not, but I've done it now. And I'm going to knit up the front, I'm going to knit up the back, and then I think I'm going to cast on across the bridge here and do like a saddle shoulder with this design down the shoulders, or like a modification of this design down the shoulders, and join in the front and the back. Maybe? I don't know. My friend Corelia from Norway is helping me out because she's a fantastic knitwear designer, kind of, you know, she knows her way around a jumper, you know. I love a person who knows her way around a jumper. So we're gonna see how we go from there. Oh, for anyone who hasn't, anyone new, hi, how did you find me? I'm so interested. But for anyone new, jumper in Ireland and England means a pullover sweatshirty type business. Cool? Cool. I know what it means in America. It's like a pinafore dress. I'd call the American version a pinafore dress, but it's a jumper. Jumper is the top half, covered with sleeves. So I was going to start knitting this, and I think that's a really bad idea because although I know the pattern off by heart, I have actually, oh, in case you really don't know me, I designed this pattern myself using like different swatch books because I couldn't really find a nice sweater pattern that I liked, and James really wanted a sweater with the Doherty symbol on it, which is a stag, and this is kind of like stag antlers. So I know there was like that beautiful Nora Gone, which actually I've just seen in real life, well in real life, on a podcast that I've just found called the Knitting Vicariously podcast. Have you seen it? You need to go over and watch her right now. She's actually amazing. Like, she's just funny, you know, just those funny people. And my kind of funny. If you like my humour, I think you'll like her. You should go and watch her. Give her a chance. She's fun. She's really fun. I like her a lot. Yes. So I'm knitting on James's jumper again, and I'm just going to work on the front panel and the back panel, and then we'll see where we go from there. What I might end up doing is casting on and knitting that little saddle shoulder bit on its own, and then just seaming them, like seaming the front and back together, and then picking up all the stitches around and then knitting the sleeves down I think that might make it a little bit more easier for my brain to comprehend. Because I really love the idea of a saddle shoulder, but I've never actually knit one. So I'm going to have to do a bit of investigation. To help me with my investigation, I ordered a book. Knitting Without Tears, Elizabeth Zimmerman, the goddess of knitting. I love it. I can just imagine. So basically, Elizabeth Zimmerman is a lady who has passed away. But she, when was this? This was copyright 1971. But she was advocating for seamless top down in the round knitting with circular needles back in 1971. Like, she's totes ahead of her time. And like, I live in Ireland. I live in Limerick, and I still to this day have people astonished that I'm using circular needles because they're just modern. But they're not modern. They're 50 years old. This book is 50 years old, you know, like, it's not modern. But I'm really loving the little tips, hints and tips she's giving for casting off for the shoulder seams. And I can't wait to get into the patterns and stuff and see what she's up to. I think I'm probably going to understand it quite a lot because that's the way I knit. It's the way I learned how to knit, this kind of modern style of knitting. Modern kind of style of knitting. So yeah, I'm just really interested in it. I'm loving reading it. I really, really am. So seamless sweaters, she talks all about that. She talks about ski sweaters, raglans, saddle shoulder. That's exactly what I want. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This bit here, saddle shoulder. This bit where you, yes, can't wait to get to that bit. Now she's probably going to have knit from the top down, but I can adjust that a little bit. I love the way she talks. A little bit more sophisticated, but worth the effort, really. And great fun to make. Thanks, Elizabeth! She just is so cool. So I just got that. Oh, it's actually Canadian. But I just got it on Amazon and I used a dress pal to ship it over to Ireland because a lot of people don't ship to Ireland because they don't think it's worth it. Thanks, guys. People who don't ship to Ireland. That's super nice of you to say. We have a complex already. You don't need to make it worse. All right. Anyway, so what else is I going to talk about? I haven't been doing much spinning. I've totally lied. I have done a bit of spinning. I've done a bit of experimenting. And I did not spin this. This is cotton. This is some hand spun cotton from women in India, from the Himalayas, and it is a single ply. There is about 41 skeins in this little, 41 centimeters or grams in this tiny little, skein. So I decided, because it was single ply and there is quite a lot of a twist in it, you know, the twist stays in it, so there's a lot of active twist. So it's going to be like, okay, and even when you let it go, it's kind of doing this crimpy business, which means that anything you make from it will be a little bit tricky to, it'll probably bias, it'll probably twist, it'll go with the twist. So I decided I was going to 2-ply it. So I got another skein and I wound it into a centre pull ball and I plied it together on itself. It was a big job, so much work. So that was 42 skeins. This one that I plied together, let's see there. I'm gonna just turn it around so you can see. This camera is so much better for up close work. So this is a 2-plied and it's still not even lace weight. I think maybe it is lace weight. It's so fine. So this is your single ply and this is your 2-ply. Just a little bit of EM in it. So this would have been spun on hand spun on little charka. So that's 2 strands there. Crazy. So I weighed this and it weighed out at about 33 grams. So I wound it onto a niddy noddy, which took forever, and I measured out kind of the estimated yardage. 500 meters. 500 meters plied. So individual strands in 33 grams, 1,000 meters. What? How do you... I am amazed. So cotton, spun, hand spun. Just amazed. Amazed at their skill. So this skein now is obviously twice as long because I wound it out on my big long niddy noddy, not my small one. So, but it hangs very straight now. So I'm going to use this as a warp, I'm thinking, and then use this as the weft. I think that will probably help out a little bit. I don't know if I have... I do want to weave with this, just because of its history. And I think weaving with... It's so soft now. It's like I've added in a little bit of air. But yeah, so I think I need to make more of this from that. You know, I need to make more to make some like decent amount of yardage, and then maybe make some sort of clothing out of it. Now, because the fibre is still so fine, I probably will need to warp it up with 2 or 3 of these plied yarn, so it would actually be a 6 ply in the warp. Just a lot of work. I could just buy it off them as well. I know the names, you know. I could just buy it. But it's just such a wonderful experience to like actually feel it and touch it and see what they've done with it and then try my way. I kind of went a bit wild when I was having a bit of a bad day, and I bought a book charka, which is a small little spinning contraption the size of a book, about this size, that opens out flat. I cannot wait to show you guys. It's coming from India, so it's going to take a while, but I'm so excited. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed already and you would like to follow me and find out more about my silly adventures with all the things that I really don't know how to do or what it's all about, do click on that little subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, because they're nice. They're nice to get. I like them. So yeah, oh, what else? Oh yeah, just for spinning, I got another book. I kind of went on a bit of a spending spree for equipment and yarn. But books and equipment. I haven't bought any yarn recently, which will probably change at my retreat in 2 days. So I bought this book called the Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs, and this was recommended to me by my friend Orla from the Guild, and I absolutely love it. The book is beautiful. It all of her samples are done in a white yarn, which really like shows you the difference between everything. And she goes through spinning basics, singles for plying, standalone singles, spiral yarns, opposing plies, boucle yarns, cable yarns, crepe yarns, core yarns, and novelty yarns. So it's really fascinating, all the different type of, you know, there's like singles, slubby singles here. She talks about all the different types of spinning a single, chain plying, Andean plying, chain plying and Andean plying. That Andean demonstration is actually probably most useful. The Great Sock Experiment. So she did a load of different sock experiments using different types of plies. So she did like a chain ply, and you can see details of the wear on them. So she did one sock in one yarn, and then she did the other sock in the other, and she wore them both at the same time, and then she was able to measure the wear. It's fascinating. So good. And then yeah, so there was like 3 ply, so she did it in 3 different, yeah, she did it in merino, she did it in Polworth, and she did it in BFL. and you can see all of the effects of, so this one is the BFL. The first one was the merino and there was way less wear on it. Huh. It's just so interesting. Anyway, beautiful, just a beautiful book. There's stuff about like hawser plying. I've never seen that before. All the felted singles, slubby singles, energized singles. Oh, this is a perfect example. So this cotton is an energized single effectively, so it's still got loads of twist in it. So it'll effectively do this, it'll like skew in whichever direction it was spun. So your garments can actually, you can actually use the technique to your kind of benefit, but yeah, it can be interesting. And then you can size your energized signals. So she's showing, oh yeah, so, oh my god, this book is just reading my mind. So if you see your energized singles, you can switch them out. So it's purl one side will go up one side, and then if you knit the other side, then it'll go down. You know, that sort of, you can actually use the energized singles to actually as a textural device, as a tool. Spiral yarns, I love these so much, they just look so nice. Oh, there's beehives, I don't know, they're just so satisfying to look at, and I really want to weave with them as well. So she shows you all the way how to do that. Boucle, which I'm really interested in trying just because it looks so much fun, but I don't know what I would do with it. I'd probably just weave it into a scarf or something. But and there's slubby wool boucle, which is like, they're like honeycombs, I suppose. Just so interesting. Yeah, so if you're interested in spinning, trying out different types of spinning, trying out like kind of art yarns, from art yarn and then all the way down like to like a really nice consistent yarn, this book is amazing. It's quite lovely, so I really recommend it. So yeah, I've got a lot of dream knitting I want to do. I've got a lot of stuff that I just am completely in love with. But I've also got a lot of things to do. It's tax season, which is super exciting. And it's festival application time, which is super kind of nerve-wracking and exciting. Yeah, and then of course we're into Christmas. So I've got a lot going on, but I'm trying a little bit just to allow myself a little bit of space and time to manage my feelings and my life. And I was coming close to burnout quite a lot there over the summer. I think that was a mistake. I do have a lot of really fun things coming up though, and I've kind of booked myself out for every weekend, which was a mistake, but now I've done it. So I've got my retreat this weekend, and then the next weekend I'm hopefully going to a band weaving course, like a card weaving. I'm really interested in that. I need to spin up the yarn that I want to use for that, so we'll see how we go with that. And then the following week is the knitting and stitching show, which and also I've got like a party to attend up in Dublin. A party to attend. So that is on the 10th of November, like from the 8th to the 11th. I'm going up on the 10th, and I might be there on the Sunday. We'll see how I feel. Probably not though, because I'm going to be super busy. But they're actually looking for volunteers. You get, if you, especially on Thursday and Friday, because it's a bit tricky to get people who are working during the day. So if you're willing to pop in, anyone who volunteers for demonstrating with the guild gets free entry to the knitting and stitching show for the whole weekend. So it's a pretty good deal. And it's also so much fun. So I need to get up anyway and see what they've got going on. And then what's on the weekend after? Barcelona Knits! Barcelona Knits! It's like a month away! It's so exciting! Oh, yes. So flying out to Barcelona, I have classes with, I hope, Isabel Kramer, Joji Locatelli, and who else? Oh gosh, Julie Knits in Paris. Oh yeah, which reminds me, I've got to learn how to brioche. So with the yarn that I used in the tutorial video, I pulled out the hat because yeah, I wanted to learn how to brioche with these colors. I gotta learn how to brioche because that class is advanced brioche, and I'm like, sure, I'll have learned how to brioche by then. So that's my next hat trick. Must sit down and do that at some point. And then yeah, I'm really excited about that. Barcelona knits, yay! So exciting. And then I think after that, unless I've got something else, I think I'm working the next weekend, and then it's Christmas. So Christmas time, we are heading over to London for in December, at the start of December. I think it's like the second weekend in December. So that's going to be fun. If I really want to head to Wild and Woolly and to a few more shops in London, and I was thinking about organising a little bit of a meetup for anyone that's in London that fancies meeting up with me. If you want to meet up, send me a message and I'll give you the dates and times of where we want to, where I'm going to hopefully be. I haven't planned anything yet, but yeah, that could be fun, right? So that's the plan. So yeah, that's that now. So I hope you all are doing really well. Thank you so much to all of your comments. There is one more thing that is very important that I really need to talk to you about. Mr. Beans has his own Instagram page. It is Babbles Mr. Beans, and it is very important that you go over and make friends with him, otherwise he'll be very sad. So you go do that, and I'm gonna go and feed His Majesty the cat, not James. Happy knitting, have a great week, be lovely to everybody. Great, sweet,